Hey Stampin' friends! Well, one of the most asked questions that I get in my inbox is, Tracy, can you teach me how to... And then you fill in the blank. And so I thought we'd kick off a new series, Tracy, teach me how to... And today we're going to kick it off with how to use the new Stampin' Positioner. So let's get started. Okay, so here is our new Stampin' Positioner, drum roll, right? We're so very excited for this brand new tool in our lineup, and I'm gonna show you how to use it today and some different techniques. I've got a pad full of notes to share with you because I don't wanna forget anything. But let's first look at what this is and some of the different parts and pieces that make this oh so cool. So the first thing is there are two plates. So this is plate one, it's kind of the smaller plate. And then there is plate two. These are acrylic plates with the grid printed on them. Love that. There are two easy grip magnets. And so you'll see they have this little tab on them. So I call them easy grip magnets. The plates, if you notice, they have these little feet on them that are spring-loaded. So we call this spring-loaded positioner. So when we line these up in these pegs, it is spring-loaded. So you see it's easy stamping. I love that. So these spring-loaded feet here are actually on both of the plates. So they're on the smaller plate. They're also on the larger main plate. We've got these pegs across. So I want you to see we've got two sets of pegs. There are these little pegs here along the bottom, these bigger pegs along the top, and then these two kind of feet that will hold our big plate at the top, okay? So those pegs are important for lining things up and helping you to use your plate. So I'm going to remove my magnets here for a second because I want to show you there is an optional grid paper add-on. So we are going to have this pack of grid paper. It's about 6 by 8 1/4. It's a tad bigger than 8. And the sheets tear off just like so. And these little pegs on here, you can probably see them a little more clearly now. We can use those holes in the grid paper and look how easily they just fit in there, attach your grid paper, and so now it won't move and rock and roll when you're using it. So I love that. It's also gonna keep your Stampin' Positioner clean. I love a clean tool, right? So we don't want it to get gunky on here, and so the grid paper will help with that. Also, it's gonna help you with aligning your paper, your cardstock, and also your stamps. So if we've got some cardstock here, I'm going to show you, this is just some basic white, but you'll see we can line it up. So if I'm saying I'm going to line this up on the 3-inch line, the grid paper is so great for that. If we did not have our grid paper, right, we wouldn't be able to see where to put it. So let's just put this back on. It goes on real easy, just right over those pegs. And then if I wanted to put this back along this 3-inch line here, then I could add my magnets to hold it in place, but I also then know where it's lined up. So to me, it makes for easy positioning and easy lining up. So that's important. Another thing is there is this measurement grid along the top. So let me zoom in here so that you can see. There we go. You'll see along the top there are measurements. So that gives you another way to line up. And there is also this corner point lineup. That's what I'm calling it, a corner point lineup. So what we do with that, so you can see how it's like indented on the base, we'll call it. So we can take our piece of basic white or whatever cardstock, whatever paper you're stamping on, and you can line it up in that corner so that you also always know where your paper goes when you're stamping. So that is just another option for lining up. So we've got the two plates, we've got our easy grip magnets, I showed you about the spring-loaded and these awesome pegs that run along the top. I showed you about our measurement lines and also about that corner point line. And I showed you both plates and our optional add-on grip paper. So that is kind of the basics of what is included here. This bottom plate is magnetic, which is why those magnets stick to it. And the bottom has some foam on it, so it does stay in place when you're using it on your table. So that kind of is the basics of what it is, right? It comes in an awesome box. It's just a cardboard box, but you can absolutely store it in this if you like. A few of my friends have asked me how I'm going to store it. And so I am just going to use, this is just a clear tray. You can get them at any organizing store, Amazon, any of the places. And so this, it all fits in this clear storage tray. And then I will keep this in my drawer. So it's just easy peasy, it's all together. Grid paper and all will fit in there. And so I also use these for my project trays when I'm working on a project and I don't want to misplace anything that I'm using for the projects that I plan for you guys. I use those trays for that as well. So that is the basics of the Stampin' Positioner. Now let me share with you some fun ways to use this, because there's I kind of broke it down. So here's my little notes to tell you all, but I kind of broke it down into 3 kind of ways to use this. There's the basics, of course. Then if you want to step it up a little bit, and then if you want to step it up a lot. So that is what we're going to share with you today. So you can use this positioner a couple of ways. I mean, there's no right or wrong, I don't think. I think it's just going to be preference, but you can use it the vertical way or the horizontal way, I suppose. You can use it the vertical way. So either way, whichever suits you best is going to be how you're going to use it. But I have seen it used both ways, and I think either one is awesome. So let's do some lining up here. So I'm going to take this, and so the basics of a stamp positioner, why do we even want one? Really, the basic reason is that we want easy lineup for when we're re-stamping. So let me share that with you. There are, let's just put this, let's go back to that 3-inch line, right? So I'm just putting this along the 3-inch line, and then I'm just butting this end up here to those little pegs. That way I know where my paper goes, just in case it ever got moved. Another thing you could do with your grid paper here is you can grab a marker, any kind of marker, and if you wanted to add a line, just so you knew, or maybe where that corner was, right? You could add that line just right along your paper, and that would give you just an extra confirmation of where everything goes in case, I don't know, it fell on the floor, you knocked it off or something, right? So let's do some stamping here with it. So I've got a new stamp here. This is from the Fragrant Layers. And I, let's say, want this right on the center of my paper here, okay? So this is a newer stamp, hasn't been quite inked yet. So you wanna make sure that you kind of rub it on your hands or stamp it and clean it, stamp it and clean it a few times, but you wanna just make sure that it's not got any of that residue on it so that it doesn't stick to your paper when we do this next part. So let's say that's where I want it. I'm gonna take my main plate here. I'm gonna put it right over those holes with the feet. Nothing's touching so far, which makes this spring-loaded mechanism super, super cool. So we're gonna push this down. It's gonna pick up our stamp. Oh, and there you see, because it's a newer stamp, it was still a little sticky, so it did move my paper. So you see, knowing with those grid lines that I was at 3 inches all the way at the top, and then also with those lines that I drew with my marker, I know exactly where my paper should go. So I'm gonna put that back there. Now I've got my plate with my stamp on it. I'm gonna take some Melon Mambo here, and we're just gonna ink this up. So you see, I purposely got that on the edge of my plate because I want you to know that because of this spring-loaded mechanism here, that ink is not going to transfer to my paper. Woohoo, right? I love that already. So now we've got this on there. Now we need to stamp it. So you can really use just a couple fingers and stamp that down. And oops, do you see that? My image did not get stamped. Totally correct. This is the basics of why this Stampin' Positioner is so awesome. So I'm going to re-ink this. I don't have to remove my stamp or anything. In fact, I want to leave it on there so that it lines up exactly where I had it. I'm going to just set this on those pegs, stamp that down, get those areas that I missed before, and let's see. Now look at that. It is beautifully lined up exactly where I had it, and all my ink is filled in, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and leave that there because I'm gonna show you the next kind of basics, which is two-step stamping. So this stamp, so I'm just gonna take my stamp chamois here and clean this real quick so we can change stamps. And so I'm just gonna clean. See how easy this wipes clean? Love our stamp chamois. Okay, so now we've got that. This stamp though is a two-step stamp. So it's got the outer edge that we did first, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and peel this off. Now my fingers are wet, there we go. So I'm just gonna easily peel this right off, okay? And now I'm going to grab the inside piece that fills this stamp in. So now I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna put it right on top, like where it would go. Love that we can see through these, right? And we're just gonna put this on there. So remember, I'm looking through the camera, but we're just gonna make sure that we've got this right over where we think it should be. That looks good. Now we will put our base plate back on, pick that up. And again, this is a new stamp. So you see it pulled my paper a little bit, but that's okay because I know I lined it up on the 3-inch line. I lined it up against those pegs, and I've got my marker markings so I know exactly where it will go. So let's just double check. We'll line this back up, make sure that it looks good before we ink it, and I think it does. So now I'm just gonna take some Bubble Bath ink, a lighter color. We're gonna ink this up. Looks good. I don't have to worry if it doesn't because I can always re-stamp it, right? Re-stamping is the best part of this because sometimes I put not enough ink or not enough pressure, right? So now we've just stamped that down real easily and it's all filled in, easy peasy, two-step stamping, right? I call it two-step stamping with ease. Okay, so those are really the basics of why a Stampin' Positioner is so great. But let's use this same image. Let me grab another piece of basic white. We'll just go with our same area here because if I was, let's say, doing multiple cards and I just wanted to kind of mass produce and, you know, go bam, 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 these marks and keeping your stamp. Now all I do is change the paper, stamp it, change the paper, stamp another, change the paper, stamp another, and wow, multi-stamping can be so fast, right? Okay, I'm gonna ink this up again with our bubble bath here. We're gonna give us a nice stamp down, easy peasy so far, right? And we've got our beautiful flowers there, our beautiful fragrant flowers. But now I'm gonna ink it again, this time with my Melon Mambo and a sponge dauber. So I'm just gonna take my sponge dauber and let's say I wanted to do some multicolor stamping. So we've got our bubble bath there, but let's say I wanted to add a little bit of Melon Mambo in just a couple of areas. So you can see I filled that in with my sponge dauber. gonna put this back over, line it right up, stamp that down again, and now, whoa, how beautiful, right? We've got multi-color stamping, super, super easy, and we didn't even have to fuss over it, right? So that is another fun technique. Okay, so let's move this and let's step it up a notch. Do you like to step it up? I know I do. So let me clean this plate off. We'll remove our stamp here. See how easy that is? Just comes clean right away. Okay, so now I'm just gonna move this plate to the side. I'm gonna turn this so you can see me use it the other way and grab another piece of basic white here. This time, we're going to butt this up right along those pegs, okay? We're gonna put our easy grip magnets there, and we've got a congratulations stamp that I'm gonna use here. And this is actually from the new Ready to Celebrate. So we're gonna use this congratulations here. And what we're gonna do now is something called tile stamping, and we're gonna use this small plate. So I'm gonna line this up just so that I make sure my paper is in the right area. Okay, so now these are the feet, and there is, let's get close, there is some smaller holes right here to the left of the feet. That's actually what we're gonna be putting over the peg. The feet just help us with our sponging, right? Okay, so let's see if we go up here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna move my paper up a little bit just so that I can show you this. So with this congratulations, I want this to kind of be in the middle when I'm lining this up of those pegs, so that when I put this down, it's in the middle of those pegs. I can put this over. That looks good to me. I'm gonna pick this up and I'm gonna hold my paper because we don't wanna move it, right? Because it's that newer stamp. And now I have my congratulations on this smaller plate, okay? So let's ink this up with Bubble Bath to start. And what we're gonna be doing now is called tile stamping. Tile stamping. So we've got our congratulations. We're starting at this top pegs here. We're gonna stamp that down. Looks good, and we've got congratulations. But let's tile. So now I've got strawberry slush ink here. I've got my plate again. And let's ink that up. And strawberry slush. We were at the top first, so now we're gonna move down a second peg. Okay, move down a second peg. Now let's stamp that down. And we've got congratulations again. So you see, we've got this tile effect going on. Now we're gonna bring in our Melon Mambo. Let's get a little darker. Of course, you don't have to change your color every time, but who doesn't love a lot of colors, right? So since I went light to dark, I don't even have to clean these in between. And I'm just gonna move my magnet, this one magnet, and now we're gonna go to that third peg, and we're gonna stamp that down. So I started at peg 1, then I went to peg 2, now I'm at peg 3, and we could continue this all the way down our paper if we wanted. Do you see there is like a little non-stamped image right there? How easy with my positioner, I can just re-ink. Okay. I can go back to peg 3 here. And with confidence, I can stamp that down again, and it filled in that part, darkened everything up that I needed. So that second smaller plate is magical for some tile stamping. So we've got easy lineup for restamping, 2-step stamping with ease, multicolor stamping, and now tiling with these pegs along the edges. So now I'm going to show you a kind of step it up technique, which is called mirroring. So mirror stamping, right? So for this, I'm going to use a silicone mat. And why don't we move our magnets here? See if they get stuck together. It's no big deal. With that easy grip magnet, with that little tab that's there, you can easily pull them apart and they are just fine. So I'm going to bring in my silicone mat here, and let's just line this up along that 7. Since I already have that mark up there, I will know where I'm at. And then the same thing with my paper here, I am going to put that there. And so now I'm going to use, let's use our big plate again. Let's take off our floral image here, and we're going to do some mirroring. What is mirroring, Tracy? What are you even talking about? Okay, well, let me show you the stamp we're going to use, and then maybe it will make a little more sense. So I'm going to use this super cute bear that is part of our Valentine Kisses stamp set. Well, he is just darling, but he is facing the wrong way for me. I want him to face the other way, so I need to mirror him, okay? So let's take our bear, and we're gonna put him right on our silicone mat there. I'm gonna take my big plate here, and let's pick him up. Now he's been used a lot. I was making lots of Valentines with him, so see, he didn't stick at all. So we just picked him up. That's all we've done so far. Then I'm gonna take, and this time I'm gonna use Secret Sea ink. I'm gonna open this up. Let's ink him up. He's so cute. He is so cute. Okay, so we've got him all inked up in Secret Sea. We're gonna stamp him down directly onto my silicone mat. Okay, see he's there? And for this, I think it's a really good idea to ink him one more time, put him right back on, and stamp him down again in the same spot, just to make sure we have all of the ink there, exactly how we want. So now I'm gonna take my basic white, I'm gonna put this right on top of the image. I'm gonna take my plate, and right over this, I'm gonna pick my stamp up. So this just really helps because this is exactly where my bear was, right? When I stamped him on the silicone mat. So when I stamp him like this, it's making sure that I'm picking up all that ink from the silicone mat onto my bear. Yes, it's gonna stamp him the back, but now I have a stamp going the other way. So let's grab one more piece of basic white just to show you. So I will ink my bear up once more. Okay, put it right back on those little pegs, stamp him down. Oh, he's so cute. And now you can see we've got the image as is and the mirrored image. And so I can use the die to cut this out or hand cut them out or just leave them as is. But now I have the exact mirrored image of the stamp that I need. And the positioner makes it so easy because you can make sure you have enough ink on your silicone mat for that reversed image. Isn't that super cool? So we have done it all today, friends. We have showed you the new tool that is just so cool. We have shown you the basics of what's included and all the fun things with the different plates. We have showed you how to easily stamp and restamp, how to do two-step stamping with ease, some multicolor stamping with ease, some tiling with ease, and everything is all exactly lined up. I love that. And then we've even stepped it up and showed you some mirroring techniques. So I hope you have found this Tracy Teach Me How to video helpful and that you are loving all the possibilities that our Stampin' Positioner creates for us. All right, well, thanks so much for joining me. Please leave in the comments what you would like to know how to do. Is there a tool that you'd love to know how to use, a different technique, or something you'd just love a little more Tracy tips on? I am here to share that with you. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next How To Tracy Teach Me How To video. Bye for now.